Call this meeting to order. Tuesday, July 18th, 2023, 7 p.m. City of Somerton Regular Council meeting. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Terrell,
Present.
Vice Mayor Jesus Luna,
Present.
Councilmember Luis Camilo, Councilmember Miguel Villalpando, Councilmember Juan Castillo,
Present.
Councilmember Martha Gonzalez, Councilmember Lorena Delgadillo. Present. You have a form.
Out to the public. Anybody from the public want to address council? No one? We have one proclamation, Parks and Recreation Month.
Whereas parks and recreation departments are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including the city of Somerton. And whereas parks and recreation departments promote health and wellness, thereby improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And whereas parks and recreation departments promote time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being, and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas parks and recreation departments encourage physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas parks and recreation departments are a leading provider of health, meals, nutrition services, and education. And whereas parks and recreation departments programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas parks and recreation departments increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas parks and recreation departments are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas parks and recreation departments offer essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the federal authorities have designated July as Parks and Recreation Month. And whereas the City of Somerton recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources. Now therefore, I, Mayor Gerardo Anaya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, proclaim July 2023 as Parks and Recreation Month. During this month, I encourage all residents and visitors to participate in the My Right activities offered our Parks and Recreation Department.
I'm going to invite the Parks and Rec Director and any staff to come and receive the proclamation.
Mayor, if the Parks and Recreation would like to say some words. That's okay.
Thank you, Luis. Good evening, Mayor and Council. And since 1985, people in the United States have celebrated. Since 1985, people in the United States have celebrated Parks and Recreation Month in July to promote building strong, vibrant, and resilient communities through the power of parks and recreation, and to recognize the more than 160,000 full-time parks and recreation professionals, along with hundreds of thousands of part-time and seasonal workers and volunteers that maintain our country's local, state, and community parks. This year's theme, Where Community Grows, celebrates the vital role parks and recreation professionals play in bringing people together, providing essential services, and fostering the growth of our community. Tonight, we're presenting you with Grow Kids. Plants like communities need attention and nurturing to grow. It is our hope that you will take care of these plants the same way you take care of our community. Thank you.
And also, please note on the record that, Councilwoman Gonzalez is on the.
Thank you. Now, move on to consent agenda. There's one item. Approval of an intergovernmental agency agreement between Yuma High School and Yuma Union High School and the City of Somerton. Does any member want to remove the item from consent agenda? Is there a motion? A motion by Councilwoman Delgadillo.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Roldan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. We have one presentation and discussion on establishing an employee recognition program.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Excited to bring to you a program that we've been working on the human resources side to begin an employee recognition program. At the heart of every organization is the employees that work for it. And in order to create a vibrant workforce and to create a vibrant work environment, I believe that it's important that we have opportunities to recognize our employees whenever they're doing a great job for the city and providing valuable services for the city. So with that in mind, the primary goals of this employee recognition program would be to improve employee engagement, promote city values, encourage cost-saving ideas and process efficiency, and improve employee retention. Next, please. So the Somerton Talent Achievement Recognition Program is what we are defining this, and the acronym is START. The Talent Achievement Recognition, or START program, is an employee engagement initiative that recognizes employees demonstrating the core values of the City of Somerton. The START program is built around the concept that recognition should flow in every direction and across every level of the organization. Now, in most recognition programs, many times it's leadership that's selecting employees and selecting the recipients of recognition. Under this program, we intend to spread it out across the whole organization so that every employee has the opportunity to recognize either their peers, employees from other departments, or across the organization. Next, please. So one of the key concepts of this START program is to provide peer-to-peer recognition. So on-the-spot recognition of coworkers, supervisors, management. Again, supervisors and directors cannot be in every place at every time. And it's important that we have something that allows us a mechanism to recognize other employees on the spot. So this is one way to do it. So we're going to provide a postcard that has a personalized message that will be given to the employee being recognized. And along those lines, we're going to be putting together these packets. This is just a sample, it's not complete. If you open it, there's a card inside, and the card is branded with a logo, the recognition logo on the back. It has a message and a place for the person given the recognition to put their name and then what the recognition is for. So these will be designed for on-the-spot recognition. Next, please. And there's also opportunities for leadership to recognize employees for accomplishments that they feel are worthy of recognition. So on-the-spot recognition could also be demonstrating core values of the city. Certainly leadership and council members could also participate in the recognition. Next, please. Another form of recognition would be the lunch with Louis. So this particular, when I first
Mayor, I'm gonna eat salad.
for this particular concept, when I presented it to Louis, his eyes got really big and said he really liked it. He liked the lunch part. So we're going to this is going to be quarterly recognition by leadership. So the way the program will work is that as we do on-the-spot recognition, those will be submitted to HR. HR will keep a log of all the recognitions that are done on a monthly basis by employees recognizing each other. So we'll keep on that log, and then all those recognitions at the end of the quarter will be reviewed by a committee, and the committee will certainly go through them and then select the candidates that would be invited to have lunch with Louis on a quarterly basis for that additional recognition. So some of the things that we would be looking for would be to recognize a standing service that aligns the city goals with objectives. Certainly, council could have input in that as far as what are the goals of the city, what are the objectives, what it is that we want to accomplish. So some of the things that could be recognized are standing customer service, cost savings ideas, service to the community. Again, our employees, not only do they work here at the city, but they also live in the community and they provide service hours in the community for different types of events or different types of organizations. So I think we should recognize that as well. Also demonstrated technical skills and expertise in the employee's respective area of responsibility. Many times we have the opportunity to recognize employees that are in high visibility positions. Those that are doing social media and maybe leadership roles. Those are high visibility, human resources, for example, as well. Those positions are high visibility and it's easy to see what they do. But there's many times that we have employees that are working in the wastewater treatment plants, then delivery, picking up the garbage, providing maintenance on the parks and so forth, that kind of are working behind the scenes and nobody really has an opportunity to see what they do. And this is an opportunity to sort of recognize them as well. So exceptional technical skills, expertise should be recognized, this demonstrated exceptional leadership skills, and also, again, exceptional core values of the City of Somerton. Next, please. So the logo design concept, again, these are some ideas that in collaboration with our graphic design, Vanessa helped us put the vision into what you see. So we're thinking about branding this in the future with maybe T-shirts or some other types of merchandise that could be given to employees. And there's some additional ideas that we're working on that will roll out over the next several weeks. But this is the concept that you see at the moment. Next, please. So in summary, an effective recognition program will drive employee engagement up, focus employee activities and initiatives on the values that promote a positive workplace culture, work efficiency, teamwork, collaboration, and maximize our resources. So the long-term objective really is to start to build a workplace culture that encourages employees to work well with each other, to have a positive workplace, and then encourage teamwork, collaboration, and so forth. I think those are the ultimate goals. As with any program, in the initial stages, there's hiccups. So we're certainly experiencing some hiccups as far as trying to get the concept going and moving forward. But I think we shouldn't lose sight of what the ultimate objective is to continue to improve the city, continue to improve the workforce, and continue to improve the workplace environment. Next, please. So that's the end of my presentation. Do you have any questions, comments?
Councilman Villalpando?
When I first read this,
Yes.
I really like the whole concept, I like the idea. I mean, it's something that those of us that are in supervisory positions should be doing regardless of whether this program exists.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, there's been plenty of instances where I've reached out to Carmen, I've reached out to Chief, Louis, and given them employees that I see have done an outstanding job, that recognition, you know. You know, I have the reputation of always being like, hey, why didn't you do this? You know, but I'm also a firm believer that if somebody does a good job, you let them know.
Yes.
It's important not only to let them know when they're not doing, they didn't do a good job, but also when you do a job well done. And so, well, I'm glad that you did mention that you guys are considering those that aren't visible, those because those tend to fall behind.
Nobody ever sees their work. I mean, when you have, individuals working in the mechanic shop or in the, wastewater treatment plants, they're pretty much working isolated, and it doesn't diminish the work that they do. I think that they do great work, and sometimes they're working their hardest to keep things going, and I think we just need to look for opportunities to recognize them as well.
And so I'm all in favor of, you guys are internally recognizing your employees. Sure, you know, employees, you know they're doing that. You know, that's not a problem. But I am cautious as far as us giving too much feedback, just because per policy, we're not supposed to get involved too much with the employees.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I'm not saying that we can have communication with them, but I don't want my input to determine their success or their failure, you know, so that's the only thing that I'm cautious about, but I do share my, when somebody does a job well done, you know, I'm gonna try to share with Louis and let them know that, hey, they did a good job. You know, that's my only input as far as this is concerned. Myself, I kind of want to limit my participation.
I appreciate your input.
I also have a comment. You bring up a good point, Armando, for those employees that, I guess, were isolated. You know, you did mention the wastewater, the mechanics, public works. So you said that leadership doesn't see them as often. So who's going to recommend them? You know, who's going to be out there other than, of course, their supervisor, but is their supervisor going to pick each one different at every month, or what's the criteria? How fair is it? Where are you getting that input from? Because you're not at wastewater plant, you're not at the area, fire department, the police department outside, you know. So how Louis' decision, or?
Well, it's really, this type of recognition program is not, shouldn't be top-down driven. It shouldn't be Louis determining things or HR determining things and so forth. The whole concept behind this is that a co-worker can recognize another co-worker. So you can have a wastewater operator apprentice that's working under wastewater operators 3, and that person is coaching him and bringing him along, and that apprentice can recognize that operator 3 and say, you know what, this month, this operator 3 really coached me and taught me well how to do this particular process and so forth. Those are the opportunities for recognition. So it can be peer-to-peer or, somebody within the area that sees that. Of course, I agree with you. A management cannot have eyes everywhere. And that's why we're driving it down to the worker level so that employees can have the opportunity to recognize each other. That information will get to HR, and that will get to the community, that will get to management.
How is it getting to the employees that they're able to do that?
We're going to have multiple communications. So starting Monday, I'm planning on going to every department and doing presentations on how the program is going to work. We're going to put together these packets with information how the program will work. Each packet will have 3 recognition cards inside, and we're going to give a packet per quarter. So every employee will have 3 cards to recognize their coworkers and so forth, and the rules on how to do it. So as they recognize them, then that employee that's being recognized will bring that card to HR, will log it, put a stamp on it, and keep track of who's being recognized, who's given the recognition, and so forth. In a way to sort of monitor what sort of things employees are recognizing each other for. And in addition to that, if it's low participation at the beginning, maybe we'll do more communications and try to promote it a little better. It's a brand new program. It's just getting off the ground. So we'll work things out and hopefully expand it and make it easier to understand, easier to work with. We want to make it as simple as possible. The point is to have the opportunity to recognize employees.
I was just wondering who was gonna talk to the employees, and I didn't want the misconception that, Louis and Carmen are the only ones picking these people.
No.
Employees, and that their peers themselves are doing that, and so I just wanted to.
And we'll encourage directors to be out there and kind of promoting that as well, supervisors as well. But again, peer to peer will be the key, how they engage with each other and recognize each other. I think that's going to be the foundation of the program. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments?
Mayor?
Question,
Vice Mayor is gonna speak, and then, after the Vice Mayor, Castillo, you're next.
a quick question. Who picked Louis for their lunch?
Unfortunately, that was my idea. I picked that idea and really liked it. So I'll take the blame for that.
Councilman Castillo?
You know what, I just have a comment, Mayor. I'm just gonna say that, I'm glad that, something like this is coming up. I want to commend everyone involved in the participatory recognition. I think it's a good idea. We start focusing on what our city employees and staff are doing well. Using positive reinforcement is great. So, thank you guys for coming up with.
Do we have a translator here?
It was a great idea.
Armando's gonna translate.
Anytime he doesn't come, we need him.
Oh, he said I'm awesome, and awesome. He said, you're gonna give me a raise, can't do no wrong. Anything else? Any other comments?
Other questions or comments?
Thank you. So I do have one additional item, and the START program is kicking off today. However, Louis was really pushing things along and trying to get things done, and he suggested that he wanted to recognize some employees on the first night that we present the program. And so Louis gave us his recommendations, and we did his own recognition. So this is our way to kick off the program with Louis' recognition of some employees. So I have some certificates that we're going to hand out, and the employees were able to be here, most of them. So I'll take a moment to present this to them. So the first recognition is for Dora Ballesteros, and this is for recognition. So the recognition is for providing direct support for the Special Olympics, ambulance place, fundraising efforts, and for promoting the Somerton Police Department and State of Arizona. Congratulations. The next one is a busy bee. She never stops. It's Vanessa Iturbide. And the recognition is Vanessa recognition for dedicated service to promoting the City of Somerton as an event on social media, making the extra effort to be available at various times and dates to capture our city and residents. Vanessa has also demonstrated a commitment to encourage participation in staff activities and celebrations. Congratulations. Our next recipient is Saúl Albor. So For Saul, the recognition is for providing leadership in projects and events for public works. Saul has demonstrated his willingness to provide exceptional support to city events and activities and to be part of the planning process. Congratulations, Saul.
Thanks, everyone.
Our next recipient is Arturo Durazo. Arturo, the recognitions for providing leadership on specific projects in public works and his commitment to improve the efficiency and process structure to better serve our residents and employees. Congratulations. Thank you. Our next recipient is Mirna Rodriguez. Mirna, recognition for taking the initiative to coordinate the annual auction and providing support to public works and other departments. This effort helped raise funds for the general fund and clean up areas in our city grounds. Congratulations. Our next recipient is Leo Lomeli. Leo, the recognition is for improved efficiency and cost savings. Leo took the initiative to review local policies and then provided this information to improve the efficiency of services to the residents. Leo's efforts improved communication and lowered the cost at the same time. Congratulations. Our next recipient is Yaides Sanchez. He was not able to be here tonight. She sent me a message. He had other commitments. But Yaides was recognized by leadership for reestablishing the integrity of the ambulance billing process. Yaides' efforts have resulted in ambulance billing process efficiency, improved collection of revenue. Yaides is also being recognized for her demonstrated teamwork and continued efforts to providing technical support to the finance department. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank those employees and congratulate. It's always nice to be recognized, so congratulations. I want to invite you to come take a picture with council.
I have them in front. You just light up in the front there, and council will be in the back. Yeah. Yeah.
This will be fun.
Yeah, it's, I'm glad that you guys are going to consider other staff as well, because guess what? Contrary to what our mom said, I just noticed that it was all Latin. Nobody from Parks and Rec, supervisor from Public Works. And believe it or not, I see them out there every single morning. They're working they're working their tails off, to be honest. And so it's kind of disappointing that to see nobody from Parks and Rec, especially at Moodle. Moodle is probably one of the hardest workers that I have seen. He's there every single event, helping out. You ask him a question, he's always willing to help out. So I needed to say that for my sake, but quite honestly, I'm pretty disappointed that nobody from Parks and Rec is.
Mayor and Council, we should abstain from evaluating employees or talking about employees when they're not around. That's just a cautionary.
So again, you know, it's disappointing to see that nobody was included from Parks and Rec. There are a lot of employees and some that aren't in admin buildings, and you guys, they were left out.
If I may, Mayor? Oh, excuse me. No, and Councilman Villapando, This is a start. This is not, by no means, going to be the last. Like I said, this was something that I had direct contact with, but I think this program is going to open up all that. And so we look forward to recognizing those types of individuals, because that's what this program is going to start. So.
And I think it was mentioned that Louis picked, but like it was explained that it has the ability to, for employees to recognize each other. So at least for what was presented, I feel comfortable that that's going to be the case, that everybody's empowered to recognize. Again, this is the first of many.
Congratulations to the recipients of that job. Keep it up, and Mayor said, I think this is just a start for hopefully all employees get recognized, for what they do. But congratulations to you guys, and keep it up, and set up example for everyone else, and continue to put your job to the test, and thank you for working for this city.
And that pretty much, we have council members giving their opinions on employees, on who can, that's why it's probably better to have employees recognizing each other, not one council member signaling their friends or people that they see. I think that's more on the city manager's part of it. Okay, we have one public hearing item. Public hearing purpose of hearing taxpayers in favor or against estimates proposed expenditures for various purposes, which constitute the fiscal year 2024 City of Somerton budget.
All right, I'm Marcus.
Public hearing?
The motion to open public hearing, motion by Councilwoman Delgadillo, second by Councilman Villalpando. Those in favor?
Carmen, you want to start, please?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. This is the final step in the process of adopting the fiscal year 2024 final budget, after the adoption of the tentative budget that was approved on June 7th. The public hearing is the next step, and then the final will be the resolution approval by council that it will be presented tonight. So tonight, I would like to introduce Marcus Arbuckle. He's the CPA that has been working with the city from the firm of Keddington and Christensen LLC. This firm has been working with the city for many years, and Marcus has been able to help us to finalize this information that you're going to be presented to tonight. So, Marcus, I would like for you to come and present the final budget.
All right, well, thank you. So the tentative budget that was approved on June 20th, this is the budget for fiscal 24. The total amount was $40,807,293. The budget that we're presenting today is the same. It hasn't increased. On the bottom right-hand corner of this document, it shows that $40,807,293. Some of the highlights in the budget is this year there's budgeted for a 3% cost of living increase for all employees. There's 12 additional full-time positions. There's 3 school resource officers, 1 new detective, 1 patrol officer. There's 3 firefighters / EMTs. There's 1 park admin assistant. There's also another admin assistant to be used in the administrative department, economic development department, and in the community development department. There is a record clerk that's going from part-time to full-time. There's a parks maintenance worker going from part-time to full-time, and then the grant writer is going from part-time to full-time. In the budget, there's five new vehicles. One is a truck for public safety. There are 2 animal control trucks. There's a truck for the Parks Department, and then there's a side loader for the sanitation fund. There's also 18 different capital projects that are included within the budget. Maybe we scroll down to the next slide there. So this is the property tax portion of the budget. So there's no increase to the tax levy. That's all the same. But you'll notice there's about a $30,000 increase in the budgeted revenue that's planned to come in, and that's just due to an estimate for new growth. And that 30,000 is about consistent of the increase from 22 to 23 as well. Maybe scroll down one more. The next slide is the assessment districts, and there hasn't been any changes in that from last year. That those are going to be the same. The rest of the document, the next page is more a detail of the revenues broken down by funds and by departments, and we scroll down, the total equals that $40,807,000. I think we have to go down one more page, and there, the bottom right-hand corner is that 40 million. The next document is showing the transfers. These are the budgeted transfers that are in the budget, and what those are is, you get money into the general fund and you transfer it to the debt service fund to pay the debt, or in this case, there's a transfer from the grants fund going to the water department for a large water project for the water tank that's being paid for out of the ARPA funds. So just the detail of the transfers, showing the transfers out of the funds equal the transfers into the other funds. The next part of the report shows the expenditures budgeted by funds and by departments, and the total of that will equal that 40,807,000. So that's kind of the highlights of the budget. Like I said before, the total amount hasn't changed since that tentative budget was approved. But are there any questions about the budget?
Questions? Any questions from any member of the public?
How are the utility services? Are they keeping their own, or are we under budget? Do we need to raise rates?
If I can have you come up to the front and state your name and your address, please.
My name is Vivian Aaron. My address is 834 North Somerton Avenue, Somerton. And I was just curious because I heard that maybe the utility rates are going up, and I just wanted to see if they're able to be self-sufficient. Are we there? Are we under?
Fair for me. So Vivian, the city did a utility study 5 years ago. It ends this year. So next year, that will be something that council will be looking at in regards to water and wastewater. The solid waste, that was passed just last year, and that begins this fiscal year. So currently, the water and wastewater are in good standings. They are self-sufficient in a sense. To a certain point, of course, if we have large infrastructure issues or anything like that. And so we are slowly but surely catching up with our solid waste. And that's going to be in a 3-year trend.
I just say that because I just say, don't be afraid to raise the utility rates. To me, it's a business. If that's the city's business, and if you don't make enough money, you go out of business. So I'm not here to oppose rates. I'm going to say, raise the rates if you need to.
And, welcome, former mayor, so.
Yeah.
Thanks for there.
Go ahead.
And, Vivian, we have in the past raised them, which is not a popular thing to do. But believe me, we look at it very thorough because of the impact that it's gonna have. And I'm glad that you're one of the residents that does understand that it needs to run like a business. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand that, but I do appreciate you telling us that you, first of all, that you understand and that you're okay with the decisions that we make, because it's
Not easy, you're not here to make friends, you know, you can't make friends.
it's not easy, but we do have the best interest of the community, and we always are making sure that we're charging, not overcharging. I mean, and so I appreciate you saying those words.
I still remember my first meeting.
Yeah, we were at a,
They brought in her white laundry full of rust. Why am I gonna pay more to get this? And I said, because you're lucky you get that.
we were at a deficit that hadn't been adjusted in years, and was it, it's gonna be 4 years that we had to, and we are finally at, you're breaking even, so.
Yeah, and that's the thing you gotta use, you don't wanna make it, if you can do it a little bit every year, then it's a little more gradual, so people get used to it versus like going from here to here, in 4 years. And that's always helpful too.
But any other questions or
Member of the public?
things you want to dive into in more detail? I know the council's looked at it quite some time. So. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. All right, well, thank you.
Is there a motion to close public hearing? Motion by Councilman Villalpando, second by Vice Mayor Roldan, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're gonna move on to old business. Item number 1, discussion of possible action to approve resolution number 2023-012.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council. The resolution 2023-012 will formally adopt the final budget for fiscal year 2024. That you just listened to the presentation and the public hearing. So at this point, if there are no further questions, I would like to ask for motion of approval of resolution number 23-012.
I have a question. And I did ask our previous finance director, but I'm more concerned on the full-time employees that are under the general fund. So looking at our finances, is that sustainable? How does it look?
Yeah, the budget is a balanced budget. So, I mean, with the revenues coming in, I believe those full-time employees are sustainable. Kind of the budget is quite a bit bigger than the prior year, but a lot of that is due to grant funding. I mean, there's still, $4 million, a little over $4 million of ARPA funds that is being budgeted in this budget. But yeah, it seems like it is sustainable. I mean, there's a decent amount of fund balance in the general fund. But this is a balanced budget. There are some contingency in there for kind of the unexpected. So yes, it seems like it is able to sustain itself.
Mayor Villalpando?
Mayor, I would like also to see if, piggyback a little bit on the question about sustainability. This is more for like the departments that are hiring the employees. I'd like to see some data, some reasoning on why we're hiring this particular position. For example, record keeping. I would like to see data as far as how many records are being requisitioned from outside agencies or from us or whatever. I just want to see justification for the position, that goes along with, the new Parks and Rec, what's the need? Well, I forgot which one.
Yeah, most of the new positions were either police or fire. There was 5 in total employees, 3 in fire. But then, yeah, there was, the records clerk was going from part-time to full-time. And the parks maintenance worker was a part-time to a full-time. And same thing with the grant writer.
The clarification on the grant writer, it went from contract to full-time, and this is a direction from council that we should have a grant writer, a full-time grant writer rather than contract.
If I may, Mayor? And just to kind of answer some of those questions, some of these positions are grant funded, for like the PD, all the officers, the SROs, those are almost, majority are grant funded. The firefighters, working with Arizona at Works, to be able to, actually pay the majority of their salaries throughout their cadets and the first year. So a lot of these are being, subsidized in one way or another. But again, like Marcus mentioned, there is fund balance and there is, the sustainability. But again, we're looking always at other options to offset the cost. I believe, and Chief, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the audits for the record keeping was trying to get someone full-time to make sure that we're adequately performing, those duties, from that, unless, is that?
This is, another position, I believe you already have somebody in records keeping. So that's what I'm saying, that I would like, especially the ones that are impacting general funds. I understand the ones from grant funding, that's not a problem.
Right.
You know, because it's gonna offset. But, the ones that are gonna have a impact for the general fund, yes, you know, I would like to see some numbers in to justify the need.
Right.
Make sure that we're not simply just overshot.
We can do that.
It was somewhat brought up in the retreat, it was presented, right, by each department, so that was, but if, that information and if there's additional questions. Yeah, but like, and that was a concern that the retreat, and when it was presented, it's just that if, those general fund positions are gonna be able to be sustained for the future, because those are liabilities that are forever, it's not a one-time thing, so that's always concerning. And, you know, as far as I remember, we've never added that many full-time employees, but if our finances are right, and there's been several professionals that have told us that, yes, I feel comfortable, not, yeah.
Thank you.
After hearing all this, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2023-012.
The motion by Vice Mayor Roldan, second by Councilman Villalpando, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It carries.
Thank you.
Moving on to new business. Discussion of possible action to approve resolution number 2023-013.
Mayor, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. This is, resolution, designating Lisandro Galaviz as the Chief Fiscal Officer for officially submitting the fiscal year 2023 expenditure limitation report to the state of Arizona. This is basically a requirement in order for the city to submit a year-end report, that every year we need to appoint, or council needs to appoint the, Chief Fiscal Officer for the city to be able to submit that report on behalf of the City of Somerton.
Present?
I think so.
If I may, usually in other municipalities, it'd be the finance director, that would take on this role, but of course, that is vacant, so, that would be on the city manager.
Motion to approve resolution 2023-013, approve designating, Sandro Alaviz as chief.
Motion by Vice Mayor Roldan, second by Councilwoman Delgadillo, those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Discussion and possible action regarding the purchase of parcel number 745-29-022.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item before you on the agenda is discussion and possible action regarding the purchase of assessor's parcel number 74529-022, a 5,980 square foot parcel for the purpose of right-of-way acquisition. Mayor and Council, the property that we are talking about is a 5,000, almost 6,000 square foot parcel located on the Smith Way alignment. As you know, the Smith Way Road alignment is located near the general cross streets of County 15th Street and Avenue B. Historically, and this is the parcel right here, the light blue shade that you see, that's the subject property. The parcel has been used for access. Not really a buildable lot, as you can tell. It's a very irregularly shaped parcel. You can't really build anything on it, but it does serve for access for these properties along the Smithway alignment. The property owners approached the city last month and offered to sell that piece of land to the City of Somerton before they put it up for sale to the general public. The property owners are Jim and Linda Deere. They are the owners of the Deere and Sons Drilling Company, longtime business. And the Deers themselves have lived in this neighborhood, in this area since the 1960s. They also own a lot of other land surrounding this property. But they informed city staff that they're willing to sell all the properties, and including this one. This particular property they acquired in March of 2023 at a state auction, so they haven't owned this one for that long, just a couple months. They acquired it for $2,335, and they are asking $3,000 for the property. The reason why staff believes it is in the city's interest to acquire this property is for right-of-way purposes. We currently do not have sufficient right-of-way on Smith Way to build a local street, which is the classification of this roadway. Could you zoom out, Andrea, please, so they can see the whole map? There we go. There's all kinds of issues, access issues here. There's also no proper access easement, so it's kind of the people there just get by because it's always been that way, that the access has always been there. But legally, that is a deficiency that exists. It's in the city's interest for us to have a sufficient right-of-way so that when we can improve that road, we are able to do so freely. So that's why we believe it's important that we acquire. We begin by acquiring this property when we start piecing together the right-of-way. The Deers, the owners, have said, however, that they do not, it gets kind of interesting here. They do not wish for the city to build a road right-of-way. The road right-of-way. They want enough time for them to sell the property, and then the city can go develop the road later. That's a discussion that we've been having, and we believe that would be, we can accommodate that given that there are no plans to improve that roadway now, but at least having the land would be a step in the right direction. So at this time, what staff is thinking is that if you do authorize us tonight to begin negotiations and to enter into a contract with the owners, is that we include some wording in there that defines how much time the city would give them until we can actually go in there and develop that road. And all this can be worked out. City attorney would review, and then it would be brought back to you for review and approval. But this is what we believe is a step in the right direction to getting that right-of-way issue solved. Any questions from the mayor and council?
Villalpando.
So when they don't want us to identify it as a roadway, because that's essentially what we find as property.
Correct?
Why have we asked them, see if they're willing to sell us that strip of land to eventually be a road? Because we're gonna be headed that route, and all it's gonna do is inflate the price that much more if they sell it to somebody else. They're gonna pay a premium dollar. And they probably acquired it at a really decent price. So why not negotiate with them right now and try to acquire the whole right of way that we're gonna eventually need?
Councilman Villalpando, I agree. This property the only use that we have for it is for a road. And, I agree that we should try to get it now. We've only had very superficial conversations regarding the other properties. This is the only one that we've really discussed in depth. I could go back to them if that is the direction and begin negotiating for the other properties as well. I think the reason that they are resistant right now is because they're still living there and they still have their business there.
But we're guaranteed we won't build it until down the road. I mean, quite honestly, I see this as them having to buy somebody else. They're gonna have to deal with the city. I don't wanna deal with it right now. Let somebody else do it. But the reality is that somebody comes in, they're gonna pay a lot of money for that property, especially the way a property is valued right now. So we could probably get a better deal from them instead of they've been owners for a period of time. They might be more beneficial for us. Other than that, I mean, we're gonna buy it, we're just gonna sit on it. Rather acquire all the land and use it as a bargaining chip. And say, hey, you know what, okay, I'll buy it. I'm gonna build a road there, so I need it.
Mayor, for me? Councilman Villalpando, one of the things that I want to point out, and Saul can, is we met with Mrs. Deere. Currently, this parcel here is separate from what you see on the, I would say, the northeast side. They own 10 acres there. They're also trying to sell those 10 acres, and so we're definitely, we proposed that, would they be interested in selling it to the city? Just that we were in the budgets, but if that's a direction, we're definitely interested. I think, like you mentioned, I think if we're gonna try to buy something, that would be a good opportunity. This particular parcel though, there's some challenges because there's certain property owners that have no access to Smith Way out unless it's through the Deere property. And so I think, definitely looking at the other option, but this separate parcel itself would help alleviate maybe some legal issues we might have in the future. But again, if you would like to, go for the whole thing, we can definitely have those discussions. She was willing to give up this little parcel right now and negotiate the other ones. But again, we're open to what mayor and council would like to, how they'd like us to proceed.
We're still gonna need it. I mean, regardless, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. There's people that need that actually need that road. There's a fire out there, God forbid. I don't think it's fire truck gonna be able to get through. So it's a necessity. I mean, I hate to say it, and it's domain, but it does exist. Fortunately, we gotta do what's best for everybody, especially since we have.
And, I do agree that we should explore acquiring the other land, but if they don't wanna negotiate, but I think we do need to purchase at least what they're offering, not just for now, but yeah, we can just have those talks and see if they are willing to start talking about the other land. And if it's a safety issue, then we can explore eminent domain. That's something that legal action safety comes first, and there's a fire there, it's very concerning. So if that's the case, then it's something that we have to explore too. So we need to obtain, at least for safety reasons, that land sooner rather than later.
I agree.
The questions or comments? Motion by Councilman Villalpando. In favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mayor, before we move on, Mayor. So just to be clear, we'll move forward in the direction you gave us of looking at the possibilities of the 10 acres, right?
The remainder of the portion, complete the right of way.
The right of way access for that, yes, okay.
Put in explore eminent domain of 10. Number 3, discussion of possible action to approve appointment of Vivian Aaron to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. The item before you on the agenda is discussion and possible action to approve the appointment of Vivian Aaron to the Somerton Planning and Zoning Commission. Mayor and Council, we currently have 2 vacancies on our Planning and Zoning Commission, and we've had those vacancies for some time. So last month, Community Development published an ad on the city's social media pages inviting qualified residents of the city to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission. Our social media ad campaign produced one interested applicant, Mrs. Vivian Aaron. Mrs. Aaron submitted her letter of interest to the Community Development Department on June 27, 2023. And as we've discussed in this meeting, Mrs. Aaron is a former mayor of the City of Somerton. She served from 1993 to 1997, and she served at least one more term as a council member. Mrs. Aaron has shown interest in planning and zoning issues in the recent years. I've worked with her on a couple of projects, and she's always expressed an interest in zoning issues, particularly landscaping, fencing, open space, greenery, environmental issues. And we were glad to see that we did have one qualified and interested person joining the commission. And staff does believe that she has the necessary experience to become a successful planning and zoning commissioner.
Questions or comments?
You told me out of retirement.
Make a motion to appoint Vivian Aaron.
Motion by Vice Mayor Roldán. Second by Councilwoman Delgadillo, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome.
Thank you. You may regret it, but I don't know.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Item number 4, discussion of possible action to award contract to Gutierrez Canales Engineering for Parkview Avenue improvements in the amount of $1,617,513.64.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you for allowing me to present to you tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about discussion and possible consideration of the award to the lowest responsible bidder for the Park Avenue Improvements Project. The invitation to bid for the construction of the above-mentioned project was advertised in the Yuma Daily Sun. The design work and specifications were prepared by Core Engineering Group. The construction of the future Parkview Avenue roadway contemplates a new asphalt pavement section, vertical curb and gutter, sidewalks, storm drain systems, street lighting, signing, striping, and a new roundabout for better circulation. On Friday, June 30th, 2023, we opened 2 sealed bids.
Staff reviewed and analyzed the bid submittals, and the results are attached in the bid tabulation sheet. The lowest bidder was Gutierrez Canales Engineering with a bid amount of $1,617,513.64. This includes $448,761.92 for the new roundabout. The engineer's cost estimate for this project was $1,466,976.88. The bid amount is 9.3% higher than the engineer's cost estimate. The Yuma Union High School District, as per the development agreement, is responsible for $584,375.86, which represents half of the improvements, not considering the roundabout cost, neither half of the unknown APS underground cost either. Tonight, for the city council, we would like for them to award the bid to the Gutierrez Canales Engineering Company with a bid amount of $1,617,513.64 for the construction of the Park Avenue improvements.
Questions or comments? Sylvia Alfano.
To be honest, I like the one with the knuckle, not on the roundabout, the roundabout is an alternate bid. Did you have the cost of APS card service?
We're currently receiving that estimate right now. They're working on that right now with Alejandro in the office.
So that's going to increase.
It's going to increase, yes.
So we're already, if we proceed with the roundabout, we're already at $813,000. Is there a land acquisition that needs to be done? I believe that. So, how much of APS charges for that, for this station?
We paid for the lift station,
It was over 100,000.
yes, it was 135.
We're putting almost that, like, meal out of our pocket. So at this point in time, I mean, that, if knuckle is sufficient, and I say we go with the base bid that includes the knuckle, and that's what roundabout. Roundabout, they're kind of $400,000.
What was our budget for?
For the Parkview, we had budget this year, $3.2 million.
Well, for this portion?
This portion, and Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, this portion includes, the 20-foot asphalt.
24-foot asphalt on top.
That goes through the high school and the gravel road.
Goes all the way around, all the way.
Connection. So this isn't just, I mean, yes, you're correct, the roundabout is the 434, but this includes, the agreement that we had, a 24-foot asphalt road for the high school and also that connected their bus route. But again, I think we had about 3.2 budgeted this year for Parkview improvements.
See, it's, I'm okay with the rest, it's just, quite honestly, I think around about 434, and there's really a need for it right now. I might as well go with a knuckle. I mean, that's more, we've known, Parkview has cost us a lot more money than we anticipated. Right now, I need to try to save as much money as I can to complete that project, so I don't see myself spending 34 on something that in time is not going to be needed. Years as an engineer, and I've seen roads in like high traffic areas where traffic lights aren't Probably not an option at that time. We're fortunate to have an engineer and a council, so we might have some feedback on it.
I like the aesthetics of the roundabout, probably, but, yeah.
As far as,
Safety, it might, depending on what build around there. But,
as far as the, west side, it hasn't been decided
what's gonna be there, how it's gonna look, but
aesthetically.
if it's better, we could build a big toro going into the high school.
Right in the middle.
You know, what council, that's what I was asking, is a budget, what's next, are we
Studying it, so sure, do we have the?
Again, you know, we have that budgeted amount, but again, it's up to you. You know, Councilor Villalpando, mentioned about, you know, things have increased, they've come back, higher, it is true. But again, at the end of the day, direction is from mayor and council. Budget-wise, you know, can we make it work? Yes, we can make it work, but of course, you know, things would have to be considered.
I don't know, last year we used our funding from, contingency funding. And so if we have, surprises, we keep tapping into that contingency every single year. Would you have the impact fee schedule, right, where they're gonna be paying for road paving? So down the road, when they start building the houses, you could actually go back and do a roundabout in the 20 years. Without us having to fork out the money
impact fees,
upfront.
it needs to be, development ready, in the,
So it's an impact by development.
but does it, you gotta look at it, if we would, it should have been identified by now, but, I don't know, unless there's a new development there that shows, I guess we
When
could be,
development comes in, you could probably say, hey, you know what, we need to look
be,
at it and we need to develop around it. I mean, I'm just cautious again because we have stuff that pops up, like the APS. You know, the pace right now.
do you have a drawing of the alternates,
Not here, Mr. Mayor.
would have been helpful by vice mayor? At least to visualize what the options were and how that's gonna look. Councilwoman?
No, hold on it, if you guys wanna go with the roundabout, go for the roundabout. I'm just being cautious.
No, I do see at least the cost being, the high school initially was not in favor of the roundabout. And I didn't see aesthetically it's gonna look good, but as far as knowing what's gonna be developed there, it's like, do we need it now? Maybe eventually.
Mayor, if I may, just to let you know, we had that, interaction with the master planning. And in that, you know, one of the ideas, if you recall, I think was on, next to that roundabout, or knuckle, which is decided, would be, you know, the open space, in the future, maybe a pool, and, the pond. So, that will, you know, that will need access. There was a parking, that was gonna be, kind of located near that also.
The knuckle would eventually probably get down.
put it for phase 2 of park redevelopment.
No, it's a lot of money, that's very under, they didn't make the number. It's 150,000.
Is there a motion?
Make the motion to go with alternate bid A.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Villalpando, second by Councilwoman Delgadillo.
Not A.
No, random.
Withdraw your
Favor?
I made my motion,
Yeah, that's all confusing.
yeah, it was the one with the,
With the number.
So for the base bid.
yeah.
A motion by Councilwoman Villalpando, second by Councilwoman Delgadillo, also in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 5, discussion of possible action to allow modifications to employee wellness program.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. This item, as we continue to make improvements to the wellness program, one of the benefits that we offer our employees is participation to a local gym. When this particular agreement was made, we only had access to one gym here in the city of Somerton. That's 24/7 active gym. The agreement was believed that we would pay 50% of the monthly fee, which at the time was $10 per month on a $20 per month membership. What we're proposing is there's additional gyms that are coming to the city, and we would like to offer more options to our employees. So in addition to 24/7 Get Fit, that our employees have access to other gyms so that they can use whichever gym they feel that works best for them. So the proposal would be to cap the $10 per month membership. So regardless of what gym they join, if the gym charges more, the employee pays the difference. So the city would only be obligated to committed to the $10 per month. And the other thing that we monitor the usage of the gym on a monthly basis, and sometimes we notice that there's low participation on some months. So the benefit of the gym membership is that employees actually use it. So if we're going to be paying for the membership, employees should be using it and getting the benefit out of it. So we feel that 8 days per month at a minimum, which is twice a week, is reasonable. And that should be the minimum standard. So in order for continue to pay for that $10 stipend, that we incorporate that additional requirement that employees must attend the gym 8 days out of the month. And those are the 3 main items. And usage to other gyms in the area. $10, put a fixed cost of $10 per month, the amount that the city would contribute towards the membership, and establishing the 8-day minimum standard per month.
Questions or comments?
Strongly feel that we need to be supportive of the ones that are actually open here. I understand that they're coming in, and maybe when they do come in, we expand when they start operating here in the city. Because when Hector first came up with this concept and pitched it to council, it was to support those local gyms as well as promote healthy employees. So I'm a firm believer in how we presented it last time, and I'm still a firm believer on the original concept. I like the fact that you guys added minimum requirements 8 days. I wasn't on it before, so I do like it. I still like the fact that we're supporting local businesses and also promoting healthier lives within our employees. And I still feel that we should limit it to the gyms that are actually operating here.
Gyms in some
One's 4th Avenue having a gym or whoever else opens up, then by all means, I believe there's another one.
Order.
So I wouldn't
The
mind
quarter gym.
sending it to them as well.
Yeah, and then the third gym is coming into Somerton, down the road. So that's the reason, when that gym opens up here, we want to open up to them as well, but they'll be local as well.
Yeah, no, and so, like I said, I'll make the motion to approve as long as they're local. And by local, I mean within.
In Somerton, yeah.
I remember when it was presented, the one issue was that we hadn't taken into account, the border fitness. It was here, it was located here, and at that time, we had the staff go back and they approached them, and at that time, the owner of that gym didn't join, so that's why we stay with 24/7. But that was my concern, just, having one gym, but if we have a couple but they need to be City of Somerton gyms.
Mayor, if I may, that is, will definitely be a requirement that they would have to be, in the City of Somerton, for us to offer that membership, or for the employees to do that. So that's what we're trying to make sure we do also. So this isn't for any gym, this is more focused on gyms that have business here in Somerton.
The gym or the boot camp also.
Gym.
They have to have a business license. But I sure like I said, I sure like the fact that you have it. I make a motion to approve. Make sure that the verbiage does reflect that has to be. And that's all for you.
Second motion.
The motion by Councilman Villalpando, second by Vice Mayor Roldan, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion of possible, item number 6, discussion of possible action to approve resolution number 2023-014.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. About a month and a half ago or so, we came before you with a proposal to fill an accountant one position instead of the purchasing agent. At the time, our thought process was that we felt that we needed more accounting expertise added to the finance department. And that was the rationale behind moving towards that. We felt that we had a huge gap between, for example, the finance director and the knowledge that they have, and then a huge drop in accounting knowledge. We needed to add more accounting knowledge kind of on the middle ranks. And so this goes along that process again to continue to enhance the finance department, bring in more accounting expertise, or at least individuals that are along the path of acquiring more accounting knowledge, so that that would benefit the finance department. So we currently have are in the process of having a vacancy. The customer service lead position in the finance department will become vacant within the next few days. And this gives us the opportunity to rethink what we can do for the finance department. Rather than going with the customer service lead position, HR, along with the deputy city manager, collaborated and determined that an accounting specialist one would be a better fit the needs of the finance department rather than the customer service lead. So with that in mind, we're recommending that we approve the accounting specialist one position, and when we fill it, we're going to fill it instead of the customer service lead position. So this will be budget neutral. The accounting specialist one is actually at a lower pay grade than the customer service lead, so it'll help the budget as well, and allow us with the accounting specialist one position, that'll allow us to have cross-training possibilities between accounts payable, accounts receivable. That will be at the same pay grade. Give us more flexibility for cross-training. And when on the recruitment side from human resources, it'll be much more effective to attract somebody with accounting experience when we have an accounting specialist one position rather than customer service lead. You just get a different type of candidate applying to that. This will be more targeted for finance. We think that provides us a better opportunity to have, staffing needs for the finance department moving forward. Any questions?
Questions or comments? Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
No, no. Well, okay. So, I think we discussed a little bit about this last time. So, yeah, I think we have to be, creative in the positions that we need here and around the county, and I think position is gonna help a lot, the accounting department, you know, that's one of the, the departments that we need very strong, and especially, you know, you see that what happened when you don't have good accounting people and things that you need to do, so I think this is gonna help the department be more strong and also, be able to, you know, give the ins and outs and whatever we need to have, so we can have a right person in the right position, especially this position, that accounting, that you need somebody that is, have the knowledge for that, not just realize that a debit is a credit and a credit is a debit, and it's a totally different thing that, you know, than a regular checkbook, so.
I agree. It's a specialized skill set that not everybody has, and I think we need to be looking for that.
You need education on that, and I think that's, you know,
It's- And the move that we did with the accounting one, we noticed that it's paying off, that individual is working out really well, so it's the right direction, I think, for the finance department.
I just have a comment. I did read the job description, and I noticed that the only requirement is a high school diploma or GED. You know, we're talking about, having the skills and the education. And I don't know if you want to kind of go back and look at it. Just my recommendation for an accounting specialist is really more on the accounting, aspect of the city. And so, you know, nothing wrong with having just a high school diploma, but I think, in my opinion and my knowledge, is you need to have a higher in order to be an accounting specialist.
I agree, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's critical, like we did with the accounting one, that requires higher education, for the account. For the specialist one, yeah, correct. Yeah, so when we're talking about the accounting specialist one, what we envision is the accounting specialist one sort of being like, sort of a low level, but then we want to add additional levels of expertise so that we have, maybe like an accounting specialist 2 and maybe a 3, so the first progression. The higher levels at the higher levels, we definitely would require higher levels of education, more experience and more expertise. I think right now the restriction, in order to do what you would like, what your suggestion, in order to do that, we would need to be at a higher grade level in order to, which implies higher budget, in order to attract somebody with maybe like a bachelor's degree in accounting or accountancy, maybe 3 or 4 years of experience would be ideal. We're just not prepared budget-wise to be able to do that. I think right now it's just the first step to get us there. But I do agree. I think we need to improve the middle level of the finance department with a higher level of education in accounting and more expertise in that area.
Any other questions or comments? The motion?
Mayor.
So motion by Vice Mayor Roldan.
Mayor, and council, if we look at the agenda packet, there's no resolution attached to your packet. So there's no resolution to present today, so at this point, the manager wants to table it.
Why didn't you tell us?
No, we thought the resolution was attached, so, I think, maybe table it and bring it back to the next meeting, and maybe even looking at those recommendations that, the councilwoman.
We just approved the budget. Let's not add anything else to it, let's.
No, I'm not adding, I'm talking about the job description.
Well, if you require education, you gotta.
More education, more money.
Yeah.
But the job duties have to match the education.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
Is there a motion to? We need a motion to table? We need a motion to table?
Yeah, make a motion to table the item next week.
Motion by Vice Mayor Roldan, second by Councilwoman Delgadillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Okay. Summary of current events.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, just on my part, really quick, I attended the city managers state conference. Very interesting information. I'm going to try to put a summary together and some of the few things that I want to share with Mayor and Council of what some of the cities are doing, challenges, and some of the up and coming things. So I just wanted to share that with you. First, we'll have a phone.
Mayor and Council, I just have 3 items to report. Yesterday, we issued the final certificate of occupancy for Somerton High School. So the high school is 100% complete at this point. Just, the CFO was issued 2 days shy of the ribbon cutting ceremony, so right on schedule. Last night, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted to approve the conditional use permit for the new Circle K. And so that project is moving forward. The next thing for them is to submit a demolition permit and a construction permit. And at that same meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission also voted to recommend approval of renaming Parkview Avenue and Tumbaga Loop. That will be brought to you at a future council meeting for your final action. That is all I have.
Chief Juan?
Mayor and Council, good evening. We have had a struggle to hire officers. We've received applications to Indeed. We usually get 70, sometimes 80. But when we do invitations, there's about 30 people in that group of 80 or 70 that would qualify. We bring them in and we invite them in, and we usually get about 4 people that show up. We don't know what the issue may be. We know we're reaching them through Indeed, but we're making our best effort to bring people to continue to hire them as police officers for the city, or at least as candidates. That's kind of like a little bit of the bad news. We haven't received a word letter from the governor either, so that's another thing that we've been reaching out to their office to see if we're going to get a letter from them. And the good news that I have is that the movie event that we had last week on Friday was very successful. We had about 26 children that showed up. We were able to, through donations from Walmart and the staff of the Somerton Police Department, get donations. We received about 3 bicycles, maybe about 10 helmets, and a couple backpacks that Amber State donated. And those were all given out to the 26 children that showed up. It was very successful. You should be able to see some of those photos up on Facebook. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. I just wanted to report that the fire department were fully staffed, which is good. Last 3 hires that we had was Daniela Mendoza, Daniela Bundes, and Michael Ames. We currently have 4 cadets in the first ever Regional Fire Academy, and those are Angel Ramos, Jose Ramirez, Robert Martinez, and Alvaro Zarate. They'll be there for 20 weeks, so hopefully by November 17th, they'll complete their academy with EMT and Firefighter 1 and 2 state certification. On July 5th, the City of Yuma called us for mutual aid. They had an apartment complex fire. There was a big fire that City of Yuma had, and they asked for assistance from multiple agencies, City of San Luis, City of Somerton, NCAS, and Rural Metro Fire Department. The next morning, I received a phone call from Chief Field, personally thanking us for the assistance that we provided to them. He said that the personnel that were up there were very professional and did a very good job. I would like to thank Captain Stephen Clark, firefighter Rudy Terrazas, and engineer Israel Carvajal for a job well done. And also with the hot weather that we've been having, I looked at my stats yesterday, and we only had 1 dehydration call. I think we were doing good in that aspect. So, thank you.
And Charles Gutierrez, Public Works.
Mr. Mayor, Council, on Madison Street, 115th Street pathway, they're finishing up, putting up the decorative rock. By all means, please go out there and look at it. It looks really, really nice. Our wastewater division just recently had a ADEQ come out and conduct an inspection. It went really well. Jose was really pleased with the work that happened, that the guys did out there, and a big thumbs up for them. Our water division, the retention basins are getting a maintenance program. They're prepping all the monsoon gates for the rains that are going to be coming. We don't want them too much. And, the last thing on the water, guys, the water staff went out to visit, the City of Yuma Agua Viva water treatment plant. They want to learn a little bit about their operation out there and how they can bring back some ideas, of what they're doing out there. They use a blended mix out there. And, Leo was really excited to learn a little bit about that. So future things coming down the line. So just wanted to let you know what's going on. Thank you.
And again, I just, want to finish off that, we have a couple of things coming up. Of course, the high school ribbon cutting tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the high school. Also tomorrow at 10 o'clock from 10 to 12 is the senior center birthday celebration. So if you can make it, I think they got cake, chicken, all sorts of food. So always invited to have and get ready to dance. And then also, just want to mention that the mural project for Parks and Rec is going to be finishing up, and so we're hoping next Thursday, the 27th at 9 a.m. to have a little ribbon cutting ceremony for that. If you haven't seen it at Council Park, please stop by. It's coming out really nice. Done a great job. That's all we have.
Council members at home?
Can you hear me, Mayor?
I want to thank the city for allowing me to attend the NILEO conference. It was wonderful. Also, the vaccine clinic that was held was very successful. The next vaccine clinic will be on August 10th. Let the public know. Also, I did see the Council Park mural, and it's coming really nice. I really like it. And then I also saw the City of Somerton signage there on County 15 with the fake grass and the gravel, and it looks really, really nice. Hopefully it lasts, but it looks very different. So thank you very much for their hard work on that. And I'm so glad the tree that I planted is still there. At Council Park, yeah. I told Herman that it was his responsibility to make sure that tree does not die.
Water every day.
Thank you.
Villalpando?
I don't have anything, Mayor, except for, just for the speed and meets and I just wanted to let Parks and Rec know that it was probably one of the best events that we've had. We added features, which was the foam. It was a huge hit with the kids. And, that really even caught my attention. I'm just glad that we're looking and tweaking and improving the event. Good job on that.
Vice Mayor?
So, Arizona Work did a presentation to the county, and they talk about working with City of Yuma and also for Somerton for the mural, and they said they want to do an event or something like that. So let us know so we can, you know.
Luis mentioned, for everyone's team, ceremony will be next Thursday.
Okay, and just make sure that we invite also Arizona.
Oh, yeah, they are invited.
Presentations.
Yeah, they are invited.
And also, Chief, the Somerton School District did a presentation also yesterday at the county. And they were talking about they received a grant for 3 SRO officers, and they said they were going to work together with City of Somerton, Sheriff, and I believe with City of San Luis or so. Making sure that we get that money from.
We already have it.
Okay. So thank you. And the same, you know, I attended the event and it was a nice event. The music was also really nice. The Queen guy, he can sing. For the phone, you know, fortunately it was just for the kids because that was good job, I think, for doing that for our citizens. And I think it was a good idea not to do it on the 4th. I got a lot of feedback from other, you know, especially for employees here at the county saying that they attended because there was nothing else going on anywhere else. I think we should keep that in mind for future.
Mayor, if if I may, Councilman Castillo texted me, he couldn't hear him, so he would like me to share this with you, if I may. Just want to thank the City of Somerton for investing in our professional growth, as I was fortunate to attend last week. Very interesting sessions. My favorite was nuts and bolts regarding the finance for municipalities and cities. I do apologize for not being physically present today, and that he finally arrived, and the day has finally arrived with the red ribbon cutting of the new high school. Finally, the 2015 voter approved bond has been completed. He wanted me to share that with you.
And, you know, we read the proclamation for Parks and Rec, month, and I want to thank Parks and Rec, the staff, let them know, that there's a lot of hard work. It's one of our most visible, departments. We get it's very hard, we get the most complaints because everybody thinks they know what they're doing, and, but, you know, thank you for all the hard work. It's 8:42, meeting's adjourned.